Because the reason why you want to evolve into someone that's disciplined is because you love yourself so much that you don't want to sabotage you. Welcome to the third quarter, a podcast that is dedicated to leaving the past behind so we can shoot for a much, much brighter future. I am your host, Ace, and I am grateful to be here today. And I have a very, very informative episode for you today that I really believe you're going to dig and you're going to get some value out of it. And it's all about your self-care, but self-care more specifically when it comes to your body, movement, what you're eating, and things of that nature. In this episode, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm doing in this current season of my life in terms of exercise and nutrition and other kind of protocols that maybe you can pick and choose what you may need during this time of your life and things of that nature. And I'm also going to talk about the importance of self-care and why taking care of your body and treating yourself with the utmost respect is what you should be doing right now. But before we get into the episode, if you haven't subscribed, followed, rated, and reviewed yet, it really would mean a lot to me if you would do that. I know I say that a lot. It's because it's very important. Again, we are not backed by any big company. We are independent. And so everything that we do, the growth that we have is 100% organic. And the more that you guys are engaged to the pod, the more that you are sharing it, liking it, reviewing it, it really helps us grow and reach people that don't know who we are yet, but we have exactly what they've been searching for. So I want to thank you in advance for that. But without further ado, let's get into the episode. So self-care. And I want to say this, that, I've talked about this, weaved in these last handful of episodes. I believe we're getting close to like that 40 to 50 mark when it comes to the episodes. And now I'm kind of getting to that place. Like, I think I said this in this episode, or what episode was that? But, the last year, this time last year, the summer of 2023, I definitely was in the worst shape of my life. I was about 265 pounds. And I was, just mentally drained and emotionally drained. And I was kind of all over the place and figuring things out with career and a lot of stuff. And, kind of burnt out. I think that's, if I can sum it out, I was burnt out. And so I made some minor changes that yielded major results. And right now, at the time of this recording, I am about 208 and 209 pounds. So we're talking within a year, I've lost close to 60 pounds, which is crazy to believe because it has gone so fast. And, I guess as you get older, time really moves fast. And I guess what our parents and our grandparents and our elders used to tell us as kids, like, the older you get, more time flies. And it's true. And we're already halfway through the year. And, but yeah, it's been a wild ride when it comes to my health and my wellness. But, what I want to focus on today is the importance of self-care and why I no longer really reference working out or training in my vocabulary when it comes to going to the gym or playing basketball or doing things that are physically active. I reference it as self-care. And one of the reasons why I do that is because I felt with me, even with my sports background and fitness background, working out and training for me specifically, it kind of felt like a chore. Like it was something I had to do, something that I needed to do. And when I say self-care, it kind of just makes me feel like it's something that I want to do. It's a part of me. It's something that I voluntarily want to give to myself at least an hour a day. And I've made that switch with my clients as well. And I really believe it's been really receptive in helping people break down the weight of having to work out and train and changing the way that you eat. Because when you look at it as self-care, that I love myself so much that I want to treat myself with the utmost respect and value and do the things that's going to prolong my health and prolong my time here on earth, and treat myself with the foods and the things that's going to really pour into me. And, we talk about self-care when it comes to like, your skin routine and, massage therapy, or, getting your hair done or your nails done and things like that. Like, going to a spa, like we look at that as like self-care, but really working out, going to the gym, lifting weights and changing how you eat really is self-care too. And to me, that's probably the truest form of self-care because it's what you do every single day. Self-care shouldn't be something that you put on a calendar. I need a self-care day. It's really something that we should be doing every single day of our lives. And how I've evolved in my wellness journey was changing the vocabulary that I use and changing the connotation that I put on these specific words. So if you're listening to this right now and you're looking to reclaim your health and you're looking to upgrade your health so you can be a 2.0 or like a 3.0 version of you, I would highly recommend changing the terminology from working out to self-care and look at it from the standpoint of how can I give to myself today? How can I pour into myself today to show myself how much I love and how much I value me? Because think of it like this. When you look at what people buy and you look at how people spend their money, no matter what someone's financial situation is, you are always going to invest or buy something that you value. And there are times where, we buy things that is outside of our budget or isn't the smartest financial situation, but the value of what we're buying is worth more than what it cost. And that's what really good salespeople do and good business people and entrepreneurs do. They never talk about the price. They never talk about how much their services cost, how much their coaching cost, how much their product cost. They only talk about the value. Because if you lead with value and you talk to the potential customer or client, the value they're going to get, the value, it doesn't matter how much it's going to cost, because people are always going to buy things that's going to make them feel a specific kind of way. It's going to get them a certain kind of status, or it's going to make their life easier in some type of way. And the reason why I bring that up is because changing how you eat and moving your body and getting in better shape really can only happen from a sustainable sense based on how you view yourself and the value that you put on you. If you don't value yourself, if you don't find yourself worthy of being in good health and of eating higher quality foods and moving your body every single day and treating yourself with respect in regards of, I'm going to pour into myself every single day, good food and movement, because I love myself so much that I want to take care and preserve myself. If you don't view yourself as someone of value, if you don't view yourself as someone worthy of preserving, it's going to be very challenging for you to stick to any kind of routine. This is why when people start New Year's resolutions or they want to start some type of weight loss journey, they're only focused on the diet and they're only focused on the exercise. But if you don't believe you deserve the results that are coming, if you don't believe you deserve the time and attention that you're giving yourself, at some point you are going to sabotage it and it's not going to stick. It's not. So everything that you do when it comes to your health and your wellness, when it comes down to, are you going to stick to it? Is it going to last? It purely comes down to the value that you look at yourself through. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see someone of value that is worthy of preserving, that is worthy of getting in better health, that is worthy of thinking more clear, having more energy, having more focus, having better quality sleep? Do you look at yourself through that lens? Because if you don't, no matter what diet you pick, no matter what class you join, no matter what gym you join, no matter how far you're going to hike, and if you're going to walk every single day, you're not going to sustain it because you don't believe you deserve it. Changing how you eat and changing your lifestyle comes down to the value that you put on yourself. That's it. God has designed everything for relationship, right? God has designed everything for relationship. Everything that we do is relationship based. It's relationship based. So when you're looking at the food that you're putting into yourself, you have to make sure that you are equally yoked. Essentially, what you're doing is you're trying to be equally yoked with you and your lifestyle. That's a relationship. When you're dating someone, you are searching for someone that is equally yoked to you. Because if you have someone that's equally yoked to you, your spirit can digest that relationship. It's not going to clog you up. It's not going to give you high blood pressure. The relationship isn't going to give you diabetes. It is a perfect fit for your spirit. So the relationship is digestible. It's the same thing when it comes to your health and your wellness lifestyle. You are in search of being equally yoked with the food that you eat and the exercise that you do. But it really is only going to come down to if you value yourself enough to even begin that search. The only way that you're going to find a partner or search and pursue a partner is if you value yourself enough to have someone to love you like that. We don't fall to the level of our ability. We don't fall to the level of our talent. We don't fall to the level of our skill set. We always fall to the level of our belief system and our identity. Everything that we have in our life is a reflection of how we see ourselves on a daily basis. It comes down to your identity. So the only way that I went from 265 pounds to, emotionally and mentally all over the place and drained and burnt out to 208 pounds of energy, of enthusiasm, of clarity, of rest and peace, I had to raise the level of my identity. And when I raised the level of identity, I then had to input in my life what that requires to sustain that. But in order for me to do those things, I had to believe I deserved that first. And this is where most people get it messed up. They're trying to do all these things in theory that are good, but their identity does not believe that the things that they're doing and who they are equally yoked. And so even when you're doing a good thing, it can become toxic to you because you're eating the right foods, you're moving the body, but you are not equally yoked to the lifestyle that you're pursuing, not because you're doing the wrong thing. It's because you don't deserve, you believe you deserve the right thing to happen. You don't deserve the higher quality foods. You don't deserve the attention that's coming from the progress. You don't deserve people looking at you now and giving you more attention. And you don't deserve everyone talking about, hey man, have you seen her? Like, have you seen him? Like, man, they are killing it. Like they lost like 20 pounds. They look amazing. Like you don't believe you deserve that. And so you're going to self-sabotage yourself to bring you back to the level that you're comfortable with. You're good here, with the 5 to 10 pound weight loss. The 20 to 30, that's not where your identity is at. So self-care really comes down to self-love. You have to love yourself so much. You have to believe in your worth and your value so much that you are going to do the things to care for that. It's very hard to protect something or someone that you do not love. It's very hard to stand up for something that you do not believe in. It's very hard to do things that are challenging for something that you are not passionate about. So if you are not passionate about you, if you do not love yourself enough, if you don't find yourself worthy of protection, it's going to be hard for you to sustain a lifestyle that's healthy. It's going to be hard to have high quality relationships when there's no drama. And if there is, the person that you're in this relationship with is going to be quick to apologize. They're going to be understanding. They're not trying to fight. It's going to be hard for you to find those relationships. It's going to be hard for you to find a career or a job or a business that lights you up because you don't believe you deserve to have that feeling on an everyday basis. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, Ace, who gave you my diary? Who gave you my journal? And it's crazy when you think about it. It's so easy for us to praise other people. It's so easy for us to gas other people up, but it's so hard for us to do that for ourselves. It's just hard. It's challenging. It's a very difficult thing to do, but it doesn't have to be that way. And everyone's journey is different. It's not like it's the one way to do it, but I do believe there are common threads and there are patterns that we all share. And one of those are, it's impossible for you to be consistent with something if you don't believe or love what it is you're trying to be consistent with. And right now we're talking about you. If you don't love yourself enough, you're not going to be consistent in the things that you want to do for you. You cannot have consistent self-care if you do not have consistent self-love first. It's going to be hard for you to have a disciplined life if you don't have self-love first. Having a healthy lifestyle is not about the food. It's not about the exercise. It's not about fasting. It's not about cold plunges. It's not about infrared sauna therapy. It's not about that. Those are the pieces. But the pieces don't matter if you don't love yourself or have the value enough for the pieces to be in alignment. Relationship. If you don't believe you deserve this, you're never going to be equally yoked with the pieces. The pieces only work if your belief system is equally yoked with it. The diet is only going to work if your belief system is equally yoked with it. The exercise is only going to work if you are equally yoked with it in your belief. Self-care is about self-love. So when you're going to the gym or when you don't feel like working out, when you don't feel like, eating the foods that best serve you, change your perspective. You don't want to show yourself love today? You don't want to pour into your cup? You don't want to show yourself how much you value you by protecting you? Imagine, just look at it like this. What kind of a parent would you think of someone that only showed up when they wanted to show up for their kid? They only wanted to show up when it was convenient for them or when they felt like it. That's a horrible parent. That's kind of what we do for ourselves. We move our body. We eat when we're motivated, when we're inspired, when we're encouraged. But when we don't have that feeling, we're kind of nowhere to be found. We're inconsistent. We backtrack. Self-care, self-love is not something that we do when we feel like it or when we're in a good place. Really, to be honest, a real act of love is showing up even when you don't feel like it. because you really had to commit to that. Showing up for someone when your schedule is conflicted, or you're going to be in traffic for a while, and you can call and reschedule, and you can call and be like, man, next time, but you still find a way. That is real love. When you show up when it's not convenient. And so if you're listening to this right now and you've kind of been starting, stopping with your food and starting, stopping with your activity and starting, stopping with consistency, I want you to slow down. Stop living your life through a meal plan and through a workout program, because none of that is going to matter if you don't believe you deserve the results and the outcome that the meal plan and the workout program can give you. You have to know your value first. Now, I'm not saying don't wait until you know your value, but what I am saying is in the process of all of this, you have to work on your identity. You have to level up how you see yourself. You have to view yourself in a different way. Where you are going, your old way of believing and thinking cannot sustain that altitude. Your new skin does not want your old skin in this arena. You have to be willing to shed your old skin, your old way of thinking, your old belief systems, old habits, old ways, expired relationships. They cannot come with you. And one of the things that pisses me off about the health and wellness industry is that we sell so much meal plans, supplement guides, booty programs, 5-minute abs. We're selling all these things, but we're not helping people raise their identity. If you do this, then this. No. If you see yourself this way, then you will do the things that's required. This is why people fall off, is because they think that by doing this and eating this, I will look this way. Yes, that's true. But if you don't believe you deserve to look this way, you're going to go back to how you used to look. Health and wellness is not the gym and is not the kitchen. Those are the pieces. Health and wellness is how you see yourself first. Because if you see yourself a specific way, then you'll know what you have to do to sustain that. One of the things that was interesting about skincare, I like to think I have really good skin. I take care of my skin. Okay. I get compliments on my skin all the time. But my skin was not always like that. I would have bumps, blemishes, things like that, right? I had a conversation with someone years ago, and they shared with me something that no one ever talked to me about. And that was, what kind of skin do you have? I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, well, every face wash, every routine is not made for every kind of skin. Do you have oily skin? Do you have dry skin? Do you have itchy skin? What skin tone are you? What's your background? How do you eat? You have to know the kind of skin that you have. That's going to determine the kind of skin care you have. And I was like, oh, snap. I could be using face wash that's meant for people that have dry skin when I have naturally oily skin. I have to find the face wash that's in alignment with the kind of skin that I have, which that's going to determine the kind of toner that I use, the kind of moisturizer that I use, the kind of exfoliator that I use. Does your body respond well to warmer water or cooler water? So now the skincare routine that I have is not based on me wanting clearer skin. It's based on being equally yoked with the kind of skin that I have. Thus, I get the skin that I want because my skin and my skincare routine are equally yoked. So when you understand who you are, you then have to get equally yoked to what is necessary for that person to sustain that level that they want to be at. If you don't know who you are and you don't know your value, you don't know your worth, you're going to just do what everyone else is doing. You're going to follow generic meal plans, generic nutrition, generic. Well, I got to go cold plunge, I got to do infrared sonic. That's what everyone else is doing. But you don't know what their goals are or who they are. You have to know you. You may not even need to do any of this stuff. So, in closing, a lifestyle is self-care. Working out is self-care. Eating better is self-care. If you're listening to this and you struggle with consistency and you struggle with doing things that are in alignment with who you really are, you have to understand and raise your identity. Once you raise your identity, once you raise your worth, once you raise your self-love, then the food, the working out, the sleep, the pieces will be equally yoked to you. Don't prioritize the pieces, prioritize the value, and then you pick the pieces that are in alignment with the value. And over time, the consistency, day by day, will compound and you will look and feel the way you always dreamed. I hope this episode blessed you. If anyone has come to mind during this episode, please share it with them, share it with everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and follow to the podcast and rate and review. I love you so much. I'm your host, Ace, and thank you for listening to the Third Quarter Podcast.